Every year, thousands of missionaries serving all over the world return home from honorable missions. They've experienced difficulties, shared testimony, and witnessed miracles. And who will hear those amazing stories? A few hundred people over the course of their life? These are stories that uplift. These are stories that encourage. These are stories that inspire. On Return with Honor, we aim to share these stories with the world. Welcome to Return with Honor. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Return with Honor, the show where we interview recently returned missionaries and, as tonight, those who are about to go on their missions. I'm Chuck James, and one of the hosts. And tonight we actually have three guests. So we have Hanna Nilsson, Barney, and Charles James. So welcome to the show, and thank you all for willing to be on the show tonight.
No problem.
Okay, so I think we decided we were going to kind of do round robin answering of the questions. So I'll throw a question out, and you guys can fight over who answers it, I guess, or in what order. So first, let's just start with the easy ones. When and where will you serve?
Well, I'm going to the Marshall Islands Madro mission. I leave in 16 days on the 30th, and I'm going to preach the gospel in Marshallese.
Wow. Very interesting.
Yeah.
So I have to ask, because can you tell us where the Marshall Islands are?
They're a little bunch of islands in between Australia and Hawaii, kind of near Fiji and Samoa. So right smack dab in the middle of the ocean.
And they picked you to go there because you already speak the language?
Heck no. No.
All right. Well, Ben, how about you?
I'm going to the Chile Antofagasta mission, and I'm leaving on the 29th of March to the Columbia MTC to speak Spanish.
Okay.
Same here.
Charles? Ditto, huh?
Antofagasta, Chile. Yep.
Yeah, so that's a little bit unique. So Charles, of course, is our son, and he'll be going to the same mission with Ben, which is kind of an interesting coincidence because they don't remember, but they knew each other as kids, and they ended up going to the same mission on the same day to the same MTC. So. And they both had some unique experiences with that, so I'm sure we'll get to that in a little bit. So let's start with the mission calls. How did that happen for you guys? Was it long wait? Did you not tell anybody for a week and then finally spring it on them? What was kind of that story for each of you on getting that mission call or waiting for it, finally getting it, that kind of thing? Hanna, let's go ahead and start with you.
Okay. I had my papers for 6-7 months before I actually really started them. I just kept putting it off, and everybody kept bugging me about it. When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? So it wasn't a surprise to anyone when I actually got it. I sent them in officially on December 3rd, and I got them on December 19th. And I opened it to that call, and I was just what the heck? But it was super exciting, and it was awesome.
So did you have family? Was all your family there?
Huh?
Was your whole family there? Or?
Oh, yeah. I had all my family, my friends. My dad was on Skype. Some people from church. And we had this big kind of party beforehand. And then I opened it, and we all cried. So it was great.
All right. That sounds like fun. Sounds like it was a fun event.
I can't believe you got it that fast. That's amazing.
Yeah, me either, actually. I was really surprised. But I'm glad I did, because the anticipation was killing me.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Well, Ben, how about you?
For me, I just sent it in right after my birthday, I think, and got it 2 weeks later. So fast, and I got it that morning, and I waited till that night. I don't even know why, because my whole family, the people that were going to be already there that morning, so I don't know why I waited. But we had like 6 phones that were on speaker, and it was a hassle trying to get everybody on the phone. And I remember I opened it, and I wasn't gonna look at where I was going, and then I ended up, that's the first thing I saw is where I was going. So I just had this big smile, right? And surreal, and it was like, oh my gosh, this is actually happening. It was just cool.
Pretty neat. All right.
All right. Well, I guess it's my turn.
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, mine did not come fast. Okay. Oh, Dad's gone.
Keep going.
Anyway, so I don't really remember what the day was that I sent in my papers, but I must have waited at least 2 months before my call came in, you know? Yeah, so I was waiting. By the time it came, I had memorized the mailman's routes in North Edwards, right? And like during the day, I would, I probably spent like an hour altogether each day running up and down the streets trying to find where the mailman was in his route. That way I knew when the mail would get to my house. Yeah, I mean, I already knew what time it would get to my house, but I mean, like I literally ran up and down the streets. So, the day it came, I like followed him on his route, and then when he starts coming down my street, and I run inside, and I have the door cracked just a little bit, and I'm looking out, and I'm watching, and I can't see what he's putting in my mailbox because the mailbox is in the way, So what is going on, And then, so I kind of slowly walked out there because, it seemed like every time I ran, that didn't come. So I walked to the mailbox, I opened it up, and there it was, and I was so excited. I ran back towards my house. I kind of jumped off the wall, and I ran inside, and I fell right on my face. So that was my experience.
You weren't excited at all.
No, not at all. Not, absolutely not.
All right. So when did you make your decision to go on a mission, and how did it feel once you made that decision?
I made the decision when I was 17, so about 3 years ago. I was on like a call with the missionaries, and we went to go teach someone, and that was the first time I ever really went out with them, or I ever really thought about it. But in that lesson, I just felt the Spirit really strongly, and I just got the impression that I wanted to serve a mission. And then for the next 3 years or so, I've just been working on that. And then I got a job, and I started earning money, and was like, well, why would I stop earning all this money and leave and not earn any? So it was put on pause for a while, but luckily I got my head on straight and did it.
So what made you finally decide to do it? Was there some kind of moment that happened, or were you just you kind of always knew you were going to do it, and it just kind of you finally just made the decision? Or
it was kind of like, since that lesson, I kind of always knew I wanted to, but then there was a defining moment when I prayed about it, and it was just like the strongest feeling I've ever had about anything, and it was about my mission. So that was it for me. Just like, yep, I need to go. Okay.
That's very cool.
Great. No, that's a great experience. So Ben, how about you?
Okay, well, I decided to go on a mission. Well, I wanted to my whole life, I guess, since I was a little kid. And then my brother left about a year ago, and then I really started thinking about it. And then my 2 best friends left after high school, and I knew that it was the right thing to do. And I don't know, I'm super grateful that they went first and were good examples for me. So.
Yeah, definitely good to have those good examples that can kind of blaze the trail for you. So good.
I don't know
Charles,
if
how
there's
about
much
you?
of a story for me deciding to go on a mission. I've been going on a mission since I was little, So I don't know. It's always been something I was gonna do. It's not something I wanted to do or anything. I was gonna go serve a mission, ever since I was little. That's gonna go serve a mission.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of an important thing, and you can kind of hear that in different stories for young men. There is certainly that expectation, and so a lot of young men grow up knowing, I guess, that they're going to go on a mission. But for the sisters, it's not really as foregone a conclusion that they're going to go on a mission. So it really is more of a decision that they make when that time is right for them. And I think, Hannah, to your point, that really comes out in your story. There was kind of that moment where you knew that you were going to go. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that. How have you prepared for your mission?
After I got my mission call, I went on YouTube and was on there for like hours just looking at everything Marshallese and Marshall Islands, because I never really, I knew about the Marshall Islands, but I had never really heard about them before I got my call. So, and over time, I've just found all these things. I went on this website called Prepare to Serve, and it has like all these missions. It has all this information about all these missions, and that's where I found the YouTube videos, and I found a list of blogs from missionaries who went to my mission. So I just poured over those and looked at like every picture I could, like over and over again, and just trying to like get any idea. And I reached out to one of the RMs that I found on Facebook, and I was like, sorry if this sounds kind of creepy, but I found you on your blog and I want information. So she sent me back like this really long list of all this advice, and it was awesome. But yeah, just surfing the internet day and night, really, looking at everything I could.
Well, that's pretty neat. So what did anything surprise you as you were doing that research, or make you nervous once you found it out?
One of the things that I had never thought about, she was like, bring a lot of plastic bags, like Ziploc bags. And I was like, why? And she said, because it's really humid there and it rains a lot. So she said everything gets soaked. So I put my scriptures in a gallon-sized bag and my camera in a bag and whatever in a bag. And she's like, and they stay dry all the time. So I had never thought of that. But that was really it. That was the only thing that I was really like, oh, cool.
Well, it's probably good advice for that mission before you get there and find it out the hard way.
Yeah.
So Ben, how about you?
For me, after I got my mission call, I decided I was going to try to read the Book of Mormon in English and in Spanish before I left. And right now I'm in 3rd Nephi. So I'm on track. And it's been really, really helpful. And I know a little Spanish. I worked on a farm for a little bit and took a couple of years in high school. And so it was just it was a good helper with like vocabulary and stuff. And also my cousin actually just got back from mine and Charles's mission a month ago. And it was cool to talk to him about it. I got a lot of information out of him. So yeah.
So did he share anything with you that you're like, oh, I don't want to have to go through that?
Well, not really. He said he loved it. The food is spicy. I'm a spicy food. He said the food is spicy. He said it's hot. He was sunburnt still when he got back. So I guess we have that to look forward to.
Yeah.
And you need sunglasses, like that protect your eyes, because there's no ozone layer there. And I don't know. That'd be interesting.
Well, that's interesting. I actually started my mission in Chile about 20, however many years ago now that was, and the food was not spicy. So I'm very interested to hear that things have changed so much in the 20 years that have passed. So, and I think Charles will be happy to hear that because I keep telling him the food is terrible. It's very bland. So
Very happy to hear
he'll be
that.
happy to hear that there's some spicy food there. All right. So Charles, how about you?
All right. Well, I mean, you went to Chile, so I kind of grew up hearing about the economy and the food and machetes, stuff like that. So, I mean, I prepared in a couple different ways. There was Institute. Institute's great. I recommend it to anyone because Institute is fantastic. I wish I knew any Spanish, but I know absolutely no Spanish. I didn't take it in high school.
Going to the temple.
Oh yeah, I'm an ordnance worker at the temple now, so that's helped a lot with me, getting in tune with the spirit and I guess learning how to work without complaint. But
yeah, so that's definitely a unique thing.
Yeah, and I mean, so we live 2 hours away from our temple, so I kind of had to move down there. So I'm staying in an apartment by myself, which I guess that helps prepare me a little bit because, I have to clean my apartment. I have to cook my own food, prepare my own lunches, stuff like that, to take with me into the temple. So, I mean, yeah, it's just a couple ways, I guess. But
all right. Well, thanks. So one of the listeners here on the program, Mary May Wickius, asks, do you guys have any fears about going on your mission? And if so, what's the number one fear?
For me, I have two. One is that I'm freaking out about the language because it sounds really weird and I have no idea how to speak any of it. And every time I've tried to say a sentence or something that I hear, it just comes out not sounding anything like it. So I'm freaked out about that. Not so much about moving away or anything. I like to travel. I like to be independent, so I'm not too scared about that. But the other thing is that I absolutely hate fish, and the main food there is fish and rice. So I'm going to be eating that for 1.5 years, and I'm on some of the blogs that I would look at. I found some pictures of how they cooked the fish, and it looked absolutely disgusting and terrifying. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, my husband.
Well, good luck with that.
He was offered a lot of fish on his mission too, and he ended up buying, was it yogurt to eat instead because you wouldn't eat the fish. So
yeah, the fish actually makes me sick. So in one of my areas, I lived right on the beach. I mean, the woman who made our food would go down to the boat every morning and get the fish fresh off the boat. That's the fish that I was eating, and it was terrible. I know most people are like, "Oh, that would be awesome," but for me, it was terrible. So yeah, I lived on yogurt and powdered milk for about 1.5 months while I was in that area. So Ben, how about you? Any fears about going on your mission?
I'm kind of scared about companions. I really hope I start off with a companion who wants to work and knows what he's doing and is there for the right reasons, because I think that'll be a huge factor in how my mission goes for the most part. But other than that, I'm not super scared. I keep telling myself I should be, but then I just remember that the Lord knows what he's doing and that I don't know, I'm serving him, and so nothing's going to happen. So, yeah.
Yeah, good. Very good.
Mindset.
I honestly can't think of anything I'm afraid of about the mission. I've been trying to this whole time. You guys have good answers, and I'm just like, no, not scared. Sorry.
Doesn't know enough yet to be scared.
I guess not.
Well, that was a good question. Thank you, Mary, for asking that question. Kind of on a similar vein, I guess, but not exactly the same question. But what are you most insecure about going on your mission?
Someone else can go while I'm thinking.
I'll go first since I didn't have an answer last time.
Okay.
So I'm a little worried about the language because I don't know Spanish at all. But that I just expect to work hard at it and get that taken care of. I think my biggest insecurity about serving the mission is I've kind of had a rocky past, and so, just staying on the right track, that's kind of, what worries me a little bit, is I don't want to mess up. So that's my answer.
Yeah.
That's why you get good companions.
Yeah.
They help you.
Um,
Ben, Hannah?
who?
Which one?
Whoever's ready. Which one of you is ready to answer?
I'll go. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I guess I don't really know. I'm not too worried about a ton of insecurities. I don't have a lot. I think being compared to past missionaries or being judged on the way you speak or the way you teach, but I don't know. I think I'm mostly gonna be insecure while I'm at the MTC, and because I'll be at the Provo MTC for 6 weeks, and that's tons of missionaries, all this and that, and I don't know.
Definitely a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
Ben, how about you?
I would say I'm just hoping that I don't get prideful and cocky, because I feel like I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna be that guy who's like, oh, I know everything, but I know that I don't. And so I'm trying to go out there and stay humble and be humble. So that's it for me.
That's good. That's a good goal to have. So now that you've all, let's kind of pick it up from when you got your call, I guess. For each of you, what's been kind of the biggest challenge since you got the call?
I've seen the adversary working a lot more on me than he was before. And I think that's the biggest thing at work and things. When I'm on the computer or something, it's just I can tell that he's working harder. And it's been with things that I'm like, really? You had 20 years to tempt me with that. And then all of a sudden in 3 months, you decide to do it. It's stupid, but I think that's the thing I've realized the most, is that the temptations and the hardships, I guess, just kind of get a little harder and harder to withstand. But then it's also the spirit just is so much more powerful than it was before too. So it goes both ways.
That's cool.
That's great. Thank you.
I'd have to say I'm with Hannah on that one. That the devil he just works on you like crazy in ways you never thought he would. Right after I got my mission call, it's like a wall of resistance. So it's been difficult, but it's been good.
Well, obviously I have the same issue, but I think the biggest struggle for me is probably, watching my family have to sacrifice certain things, because it's kind of an expensive thing to just leave the country, especially for 2 years when, but I'd have to say that's been the hardest part for me, watching my family not buy certain things, not do things, not go to places because we need the money to buy a suitcase or to buy a suit, I mean, it's a hard thing when you see your little sibling say, "Oh, why can't we get ice cream? Why can't we do that? And we just have to say, we need to do other things. We don't need to do that. I mean, I think that's probably my biggest struggle to go on a mission is watching my family put things aside for me, because I don't know, that kind of hits home for me.
And I think that's one of the things that people who are not very familiar with the church are really surprised about is that, the missionaries and their families are the ones who generally are paying the way. A lot of people think it's the church that's paying the way, and it really is, usually the missionary, their family, their ward that gets together and helps do that. So, and I'm sure that, that's the case for each of you in one way or another. So, yeah, very good. I thought I had another question that I was thinking about since all of you are going foreign. Talk to me about shots. Do you guys all have to get different shots? And how was that for you?
I have to get the typhoid and the influenza shot, just 2. But I've put it off so long, so I still haven't gotten them. I'm getting them next week. So that'll be fun. I'll let you know then. But yeah.
Saving the best for last, huh?
That's right. I decided it would be a great idea to get sick the week before I leave.
Yeah.
That's what
there you go. All right, Ben, how about you?
I had a lot to get, but I had to get the flu shot too. None of them really were that bad. But then I had to get the typhoid, and I had to do that orally, and that one made me sick. And when they changed us to Colombia, they made us get the yellow fever, and that one made me sick as well. That one hurt the most, definitely. So.
Well, I had to do the typhoid one orally too. They just gave me a couple pills, and I actually didn't take them at the right time. So, but and then I just got the yellow fever one today. Look, there's my Aquaman Band-Aid right there. That's it. And I think there were actually more shots before the mission, before we turned our papers in, than I think we had like 6 or 7 after we got the call, but maybe 4 to 7, somewhere around there. But yeah, so
Hannah, you did hear that the typhoid one was the one that made him sick. So you don't get to miss out just because you were shots.
Yeah. That's great. I'm looking forward to
it. So did you, are there any lessons that you want to share about kind of that last push, getting ready to go on your mission or getting ready to go to the MTC?
Really just research as much as you can. I mean, I don't know. It's a stressful thing, but it's okay because Heavenly Father's on our side, so we'll be fine.
Absolutely.
It's true. You gotta have that faith. Ben, how about you? Any kind of things that popped up into your mind about preparing as you get ready for that final push and getting ready to go to the MTC?
I would definitely say I wish I had paid more attention in seminary and like taking it more seriously, and that I wish I would have read the Book of Mormon more because, like I said before, sometimes I get prideful and think I know everything, and as I've read the Book of Mormon, I just see that I didn't know this part, or I didn't remember this, And so just reading it as much as you can and getting that knowledge.
Okay, good. No, thank you. Charles, how about you?
Well, I actually kind of realized it, today when Ben was talking earlier. I wish I would have read the Book of Mormon in Spanish. That's a great idea. I didn't even think about it. Well, I mean, I've read a couple of verses in Spanish, but I didn't think to try to read the whole thing before my mission. So I think that's a great idea when you don't know the language. There's lots of things I could suggest. I tried to do the best I could, though. So, I wish I attended Institute more, and definitely the seminary thing, because I halfway slept through most of that.
So Chuck,
Yeah.
Stacy has a question. Do you see it?
Yep, I was about to ask. So Stacy asks a couple of questions. So we'll take them one at a time. Did you feel prepared before putting in your papers, or has a lot of your preparation been after your papers were in?
I thought I was prepared before putting in my papers, but then after I got the call, I realized that there's a crap load more I have to do. I think I've been preparing, or I felt prepared spiritually, and then I got the call and I realized that there's still, I still have to reread the Book of Mormon. Not have to, but should. Reread the Book of Mormon and just get more in tune with the Spirit before I go. So no, I wasn't really prepared before I left, even though I thought I was.
Okay, good.
I think that I was go, but I wasn't prepared. Maybe because I was a young one coming out of high school, and so I was ready to go, but I think I was kind of prepared, but I wasn't as prepared as I think I should have been.
So you've found you needed to prepare a little more since the call came.
Yeah.
Okay. Charles, how about you?
Well, I think it's probably the same for all three of us, but I think I was prepared in a different way, more so before my call than so like physically I was ready to serve a mission before I got my call, but like spiritually I've grown. It feels like immensely since before I got my call. So that's kind of how I see it. I was just prepared in different ways. So yes and no to both. Yeah.
So kind of related, what kinds of things, this is Stacy's other question, what kind of things have you focused on to help you prepare to be independent and ready?
I've always been pretty independent, so that wasn't really an issue for me. Like about a year and a half ago, I went to Europe by myself, and then before that, I go a lot of places by myself. I don't really need my parents around or whatever. But to be ready I focused on mainly just trying to have a good attitude towards it, because one of the things that came along with the temptations of the adversary and the things that got harder was a negative feeling towards a lot of things. One of the things was so stupid. I'm half Swedish. My dad's from Sweden, so I've grown up with that, and we were all kind of hoping that I was going to get called to Sweden and how cool that would be, and to learn the language and live there for a while. But so after I got my call, I was like, I saw some things from a Swedish sister missionary, and I was like, oh my gosh, why couldn't I get called there? Like, why couldn't I get called where it gets cold and blah, blah, blah. And then I kind of had to slap myself in the face and go, shut up, you're going to the tropical island for a year and a half, so you're fine. So you just have to, I just had to work on seeing the good side of things and not focusing on the negative feelings that I've had, and focusing on the relationships that I have now, because I know that a lot of times those tend to get a little rocky when you're on a mission because you lose so much communication, not with family, but more friends. So I've had to focus on those and try to build them up and get them to be stronger. Just really focusing more on the gospel. It's been so much more a part of my life than it was before I got my call. Just in these past 3 months of the year, I've just been so much more focused on, saying my prayers and reading my scriptures and going to church and reading talks and doing things like that. So I think that's it.
No, great. Thank you for sharing that. Ben?
I would have to say, help me be independent. I'll probably be working and just trying to get paid for as much as I could, instead of having have my family pay for it. And they're still paying for some of it, but just to be able to pay for most of my things, it was big.
Good. And what did you focus on for getting ready to go on the mission?
Definitely the language. I think I'm going to get into preach my gospel these next 2 weeks because I haven't been into that a ton, and I think that's where I'm going to go with that. So.
Okay, yeah, no.
Well, I will tell you that when we've interviewed 5 other missionaries, and every single one of them.
Chapter 3. That's what you're going to say.
Every single one of them said that they recommended that you study and be prepared with chapter 3 of Preach My Gospel. So I found that to be very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's
my turn.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, not my turn. My turn. Okay. So I'm pretty independent by nature. I always kind of have been. I like to cook my own food, and my mom likes when I cook for her too. Mm-hmm. But to be independent, so growing up with 10 siblings, you don't get to sleep in very often. And so I just woke up when I got woken up, So that's something I've kind of had to work on, is getting myself up. I mean, once I'm up, I'm usually pretty fine on being independent, but waking up is hard for me sometimes, I guess. To be ready, there's been a lot that has gone into getting me ready to go on a mission, like institute, the ordinance worker at the temple, memorizing scriptures. There's Preach My Gospel. There's the lessons you're supposed to take as a missionary in the missionary portal, or whatever that is, the districts and stuff, all the videos you have to watch. And then there's this little book thing or whatever, and it's like adjusting to the missionary lifestyle or something. It was part of the online training you had to do, for missionaries, and that helped a lot, I think. I'm already using tips it gives me and stuff, and just to sleep better, I guess, stuff like that. I think that's my answer. So.
No, that's a really good point. So one of the things you mentioned is pretty new, which is that missionary portal where you actually have lessons before your mission, then some during your mission, and then some after. How was that experience for you guys? Did you find that really kind of helped you, and in what way do you think that helped you?
I definitely think it helped. It just gets you that much more prepared for what you're going to go through and what you're going to teach. So I definitely think it helped. Just a little.
I think the best part of it was watching the district and just sitting in my chair and thinking, wow, I get to go do that. And I think that was really cool for me to see how those missionaries were doing it and just how they were living. And it was just really cool for me.
So, talking to like Cordelia's roommates and stuff and other return missionaries, they all kind of like to make fun of the district, you know. So I thought I'd mention that just because it's kind of funny when they do. But I think it helps because it kind of gets you in the right mindset, you know. And like some of the experiences they go through, you can kind of go like, well, how would I handle that? Or, you know, notice things they do wrong, things they do right, kind of implement it into how you would react to something. Like, well, if this happens, I'll do this like they did, but I won't do this. You know, it's just stuff like that. It's almost like getting experience before you play the game. You know, so you can level up right away. I guess that's an easy way to explain it. You get all their knowledge before you actually go out there, and I think that helps a lot because, you know, if I get one of those questions or in one of those circumstances, I'm already going to know how to react because, you know, it happened a month ago for me, you know. So
no, I think that's
how I think it helped.
Yeah, and it is new, and the church obviously saw a need for that. So so I think that's you know, a great tool, and we're going to see, you know, the fruit of that coming up. So you guys are kind of at the very beginning of that new program. So it'll be interesting to see as you go on your mission and you come back, how that training helps you guys. So and thanks, Stacy, for those great questions. Those are great questions. Do you have any advice for others to make getting on their mission easier for them? That process of getting on the mission easier.
Just pray a lot and really ask Heavenly Father to have the Spirit with you and to really know if it's right for you, and if it is, then just help you to get through it all. There's a lot of emotions that come with a mission call, for me anyway. I've had a ton of different feelings that I haven't really had before, and they're just like extra bad. Well, good, but like really just a lot. So just be patient and be diligent in learning where you're going, and learning, if you're learning a language, then learning a language, and just help people around you understand, you know, why you're going and what the purpose is for, and just be a good example to others.
That's good. Yeah, you have that missionary opportunity even before you go, right? You can share what it is you're doing and all of that before you're even out in the field. That's a great point. Ben, how about you? Any advice?
And pray a lot, and really ask about if your mission is, if you should go on a mission, and also just learn how the Spirit speaks to you, because you have to recognize that on your mission all the time. Yeah, I would say that's it.
So that's important. I think learning how the Spirit speaks to you is definitely a key. If you can learn that before your mission, then you'll be far ahead by the time you get there. Charles, how about you? What advice do you have?
My first answer is to go out with the missionaries as much as you can, because that's kind of something I was doing before I moved over to LA. But I'd say try to befriend the missionaries if you can, and then to try to go out, you know, as much as possible. I mean, I wasn't really doing anything before I was an ordinance worker, so I could pretty much go out every day with the missionaries if I wanted. And I mean, it's kind of the same thing. You kind of get to experience the feel of the mission field, and you know, that kind of thing. And then I try to if I could go back, I would try to get more into a healthier mindset kind of thing. I don't really know how to explain it. To where certain things. You just don't want certain things anymore. You only want this. You want the right thing. So I would try to get rid of all the baggage in your life if possible.
I think everybody's trying to do.
Well.
So
I answered.
So is there one thing, if you could point to one thing that your parents or let's say your parents, is there one thing that you could point to say, this was one thing that my parents did that really helped me either to know I was going to go on a mission or be, prepared to go on a mission?
I think the biggest thing is that they're supportive of it. My dad doesn't really go to church anymore. He's not really active, but he's been so supportive of me leaving and going, and he's like very proud of what I'm doing. And even though it's for church, and even though it's maybe something he doesn't really believe in anymore, he's still been extremely supportive. And same with my mom. She's been there through, when I got them to now. And it's just, I think that's a big thing, that they were so supportive.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. Ben, how about you?
I would say just bringing me up, raising me with that expectation of you're going to go on a mission, or you should go on a mission, but not really pushing it, but just having expectation and that goal in my mind.
No, I think that I think is that's a great point. Is kind of setting the expectation, and like you said, that's different from pushing you. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't quite understand. But when it's more of just an expectation, like that's just how it's going to be. That's just what you're going to do, not in a pushy way, just in a very encouraging way. I think it really does help to set that tone in your own life, that's what you're preparing to do. So that's great. It's a great comment. Thank you.
Okay, so I kind of have a story that goes with mine. I can't remember how old we were, but Connor and I, my little brother, we were moving a bunk bed out of the house. I think it was when we got new carpets. That's what I think. So it was this big heavy metal, well, not heavy metal, but heavy metal bunk bed. And I mean, we kind of took all the pieces apart, but then we tried to carry all the pieces together out of the house. And it was on a Saturday or something, so Dad was home. And so we got it to like the front door, and we were supposed to take it outside and lean it up against the fence. So we were about halfway done, right? But then Mom said we could take a break, because she told the whole family we could. Yeah, everyone's on a break now. So Connor and I are like, woo, we'll finish this later. And then I think this guy, he either tripped or saw that it was blocking the door or something, and got all mad because who leaves a bunk bed in the middle of the doorway, kind of thing. I mean, who wouldn't be mad? But anyway, so he's like, "Who did this?" And Connor and I are kind of like, "That was us. Sorry." And he's like, "Why'd you put it here?" And we were just kind of like, we're gonna take it out there after our break, but Mom said we could have a break, and so now we're on break and we're breaking, and then you said, what did you say? I'm trying to remember the right words. You said, how are you going to leave a job without finishing it? And I think that's kind of set the tone for the rest of my life, as whether it's missionary work or the sports or pretty much anything I actually care about. So I was going to say school, but and then I've realized that a lot of missionaries that we've interviewed who have come home, they talk about how the mission field was harder than they expected it to be, and I don't think. I mean, I don't think it'll be harder than I expect it to be, but I think most people assume that means I don't think it's going to be hard, which isn't true because I expect to go out there and I expect to work rather than where I think most people go out, ready to work, but they just, I don't know. I'm not them, so I don't know how they think, but I don't think it'll be harder than I think it will be, Apparently, I'm not good at forming sentences.
Well, that's all right. Pretty soon you'll get to do it in Spanish, and that'll be a whole new level of hard.
Yeah.
No, but I think that is something that we have heard from other missionaries that parents taught them to work, and that's something that obviously as missionaries you need to do. You got to work. It's not obviously vacation, even if you're going to a beautiful destination. You're there to work. So, all right. Well, thank you. Is there anything we haven't asked you guys that you want to talk about, that you want to bring up? Yeah, we'll start with you.
I think once you go to the temple, just go as often as you can. It really just helps with deciding things and just feeling at peace, and it's just a beautiful experience. So I don't think I mentioned that. So just go to the temple as often as you can once you go for the first time.
Yeah, that's great. Great advice. Yeah, thank you. Ben, how about you? Anything we haven't asked you that you wanted to talk about?
I just definitely say that I'm with Hannah. Once you go to the temple, the first time is way too much for your brain to handle, and it kind of freaks you out a little bit. But I know that as I've gone multiple times, that every time is just really opens up your mind and helps you grow spiritually a lot. So definitely say visit the temple as often as you can.
Okay, yeah, no, great. Charles, how about you?
Well, I definitely agree with them because, I'm an ordinance worker now, so I know exactly how everything works, and it's a great experience. And I'd recommend asking about it if you have time before your mission. It's definitely a better place to be than just sitting on your couch, Also, Hannah kind of brought it up earlier with things you get upset about, but you shouldn't be upset about, because kind of the adversary trying to get at you a little bit. So when I first got my call, I was kind of hoping that I'd have someone really who didn't even speak English as a companion. That way I'd learn the language quicker. I feel like that would be an easier thing for me to learn the language if my companion didn't speak English, because then I would have to learn Spanish. And we were scheduled to go to the Mexico MTC, where a lot of people, speak English, and I was a little worried because I figured a lot of people were going to speak English, and not that that's a bad thing, I mean, English is terrifying but terrific at the same time. But so I prayed for something to happen for me to be able to grasp the language better, and then we got switched to another MTC where there's less people and less people speak English, and it's more one-on-one. So I feel like if nothing else, that helps me, so and when I found that out, I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm okay with this, because I'm going to I mean, it was Mexico, like, who doesn't want to go to Mexico? But then I stepped back and I looked at it and I was like, wait a minute, this is exactly what I asked for. Why am I upset? And so yeah, so definitely a cool experience, I would say.
So be careful what you pray for. You might get it, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, I have
Sure.
a thing about that real quick about being careful what you pray for. I was fine
Yeah.
going anywhere on my mission. I made it a point to be okay with wherever I went because I didn't want to be disappointed. The one thing I asked was that I don't go anywhere where it's really hot and humid. And it is 90 to 100% humidity year round. It's summer year round, so the Lord has a sense of humor, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure that you'll figure out why he decided to send you there. Probably after 18 months,
Yeah.
you'll be able to figure it out.
Once I come home.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on tonight. This was a lot of fun, and really appreciate you guys being willing to be on the show and share your experiences. And we hope that you remember us when you get back, and we can hear the other end of the story.
Yeah, thanks for.
I think you guys are going to do wonderful.
Thanks.
All right. Well, thanks again, and tune into our next episode when we'll be interviewing Mary Warner. And to check out past episodes of the show, you can visit our website, returnwithhonorshow.com, or subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you or someone you know would be a great guest for our show, let us know by sending us an email at rwhshow@gmail.com, and we'll see you next time on Return with Honor. Thank you very much.